After the iconic Mmabatho Palms Hotel, which was gutted by fire last week, there have been rather concerns raised about the capacity of the Mahikeng Local Municipality to fight fires. Staff shortages and lack of equipment have been highlighted as areas of concern within the firefighting department. Here to talk to us about this, I'm joined by the communications manager in the Mahikeng Local Municipality, Johnny Nkoane. Johnny, good to have you with us tonight, and thank you very much for making time to talk to us on In Focus. From what I am reading, raging fires ripping through a hotel in Mahikeng. You only had one operating truck and another borrowed from the local airport to battle that particular blaze. Can you confirm that first and foremost? And is this an example of a lack of service delivery that has deteriorated to that level in the municipality?
No, good evening and good evening to the viewers. That is not the true reflection of what happened that fatal morning. We had one truck, yes, and we had another truck from the airport, but we had another two Land Cruisers which were there, and we had backup from our counterparts, the Newzroom District Municipality trucks, which were there. So it is not a true reflection that we only had one truck at that scene.
Yeah. Well, you had one truck that was yours, that was operational, and you had three trucks that were on repair.
We had two trucks, like you said, the one that belongs to us and the one that actually is at our vicinity, which is from the airport. We are using it as and when. And we had two times Land Cruisers, which we usually use to distinguish fires within the areas of our jurisdiction.
But this was not enough, isn't it? I mean, if we look at 2019, 8 stores were destroyed in the Mahikeng CBD. This was 2019. Even then, shop owners there said the firefighters were there on time, but the truck that was there, the main truck, the motor was not working to pump enough water. So the damage could have been minimized, but the infrastructure was dysfunctional. And it's a similar situation right now. You don't have adequate infrastructure. Why is there no adequate infrastructure provided to fight fires in Mahikeng municipality?
We are turning around the situation. Currently, we will be purchasing one fire engine. We have one strip unit that we have purchased. We have actually budgeted 12 million for this current financial year. So the situation is going to turn, and we are going to strengthen our human resource by employing our interns that we have been on our employment. So we are really going to turn around the situation at our fire department. However, we accept the challenges that we have been having, but we are really working hard to turn around the situation.
But
with the challenges that we've been having,
this is just intention, Johnny. It's just intention. You're not telling us what you're doing right now. SAMU, in fact, says you are exposing members of SAMU to danger. The firefighters, they are being exposed to danger on a daily basis because of dysfunctional resources.
That is not the true reflection of the situation at our fire department, as put forward to you.
What is the true reflection? If you're going to send firefighters with a truck that has a motor that doesn't work, is that not putting their lives in danger?
If there's a motor that does not work, it's for the first time I hear from you. But what is happening on the ground currently, we are having functional motor vehicles that we are using. The only challenge that someone has been raising is the issue of the intents.
We'll get to that issue of the intent, but I still want to talk the issue of equipment. Fire hydrants in the CBD that have no water. Here's another issue that is being raised.
Yeah, it's a very serious challenge on our side from that point. Fire hydrants are being damaged by our street vendors who are using it to make money for themselves. They are using equipment that are not supposed to be used. So they are really doing a very serious damage to those fire hydrants. Some just leave them as they are. Some they bump on them, they have accidents and they are not repaired. So and on and on. But the major issue here is the issue of hawkers, like I said, our people who are trying to make money for themselves, using the fire hydrant to wash cars and damaging the fire hydrant. Sometimes it's the issue of the level of water. We would come there and then find that CDB Water is our water suppliers. They've switched off the water. They did not inform us. And then it's a problem.
Yeah.
But the major problem is people who are just damaging our infrastructure.
So what are you doing about that? One of the issues being raised by the Auditor General when it comes to municipalities is the poor maintenance of municipal assets, but the poor protection and safekeeping of those municipal assets. What methods are you bringing about to ensure that those assets are protected and their integrity is not compromised? Because when you need them during a fire, you need them to be working. You cannot tell someone with a building that's on fire that, well, it's because of the hawkers that are using this to wash cars.
We did have measures that we implemented. We covered them with leads and lockable leads, but still they broke the leads. And they even steal the leads to sell them to scrapyards, to scrappers, people who are buying steel scraps. So it's a challenge, and we've currently meshed a working together with workers associations, taxi associations, so that we must work together to protect the infrastructure of the municipality. It is not the infrastructure of the municipality, it is the infrastructure of the people of Mahikeng.
Let's talk then to the question of the interns. There are some firefighters there who've been at least on contract for more than 5 years, and the municipality refusing to hire them on a permanent basis. Why?
We never refused to hire them on a permanent basis, and it is not a true reflection that they've been there for 5 years. Remember, internships are for a year. So they were there for a year in 2019. And then because we felt that we have trained them, we have skilled them, and we need them, we then gave them a 6-month contract. So now the contract expired. Unfortunately, we did advertise the positions, but unfortunately, when we checked and double-checked, those positions were not budgeted for in that previous financial year. Now, we rectified the mistake that we did, and we have now budgeted for them. We will then advertise the positions. They will apply. They will go through the normal recruitment processes, and we will employ them in the near future.
What is that? What is the near future?
Like I said, the normal recruitment processes need to unfold, which is advertising, shortlisting, interviewing, screening, and then appointing. Those are human resource processes that need to unfold.
All right, we'll continue in a moment with the municipality's communications manager there in Mahikeng, Johnny Nkoane. Stay with us. In Focus continues in a moment. Back then to that conversation, we have the communications manager in the Mahikeng Local Municipality. Back with us, Johnny Nkoane, to answer some of the questions around the capacity of the municipality to handle fires. The unions saying that they have observed that every time there is fires catching up, especially in key buildings within the jurisdiction, there is slow reaction. In other words, there's been very poor success rate in dealing with fires. Now, we're heading to the local government elections. Why should the residents of Mahikeng continue to give their votes to this administration when there is such glaring failure in this portion of service delivery?
No, thank you very much, and my apologies for quick disappearance. I think it's the network issue. On the issue of response or responding, it depends on the cause that we receive. And we have been calling on our people to really do us a great favor by not allowing the fire to escalate to a point where they cannot control it anymore. And when they don't control it and they are unable to control it, now they call us. Because by the time they call us, the fire is already escalated to a point where they can't control it. And it's done a lot of damage already. Let me give you an example. Like you have already said when we started, by the fire at the hotel. The fire started around 2 o'clock. But we received a call at 3:47, which is already an hour where the fire has already started, and there was wind during that morning. So we are appealing to our people. The first thing that you do when you see a fire or when you suspect any smoke or any suspicion of a fire, the first thing that you do, call our fire department so that they must act and react on time and in time.
Sanko has been calling for a probe into that particular fire. Have you established why it took an hour for them to call for firefighters, and what was the cause of that fire?
The matter is still under investigation. I cannot draw to any conclusion. We are still waiting for it.
And how long is that investigation going to take?
It is under South African Police Services. I cannot dictate and say how long it's going to take and whatever.
Yeah. Meantime, I mean, the impact this is having on the local tourism industry in the province, but also in Mahikeng in particular, surely it is huge. What are you doing to mitigate that kind of impact and that negative image that has been created around your response and service delivery?
It has affected us very negatively, but we are very grateful, and even the hotel management is very grateful that only the rooms were affected. We were able to distinguish the fire, and it did not affect the slots and other areas of the hotel. So we are hoping that now that it did not affect majority of the hotel, we will still use the hotel. People can still go there and gamble. People can still go there and have a relaxation time at the Muba and other areas that can still be used. And it did not escalate to a point where it affected the hotel school. The hotel school can still be used to accommodate any other activity like your lunchtime, your dinner times, or any activity that can still be utilized in Mahikeng. So the only affected area is the booking area where you book and sleep the rooms. So we are very grateful for that, and we hope that the hotel will soon be able to recover from that situation. However, we still feel that we will be affected. Our tourism industry will still be affected. However, we are still engaging other institutions, other establishments to see how best that they can assist and augment the shortfall that the hotel is going to be affected on.
So as far as then, as we wrap up the conversation, the municipality is concerned, Mr. Johnny Nkoane, the jurisdiction which you preside over, you've got adequate capacity for firefighting. You have no issues with equipment. You have no issues with facilities.
We are up to the task that we do have challenges. We can't say we are perfect. We do have challenges, but we are dealing with the challenges, and we are really working hard to making sure that as you grow, you learn, and each situation teaches us something, and we are learning, and we are rectifying all the mistakes that we have identified within our system, and we promise our people that we intend and we are really working hard to rectifying all the issues that we have identified and all the shortfalls that we have seen. We are running short.
Well, one would argue you are hardly an administration that is new. So you're saying as you grow, you learn. You've had adequate time to grow in that particular space. And these are some of the lessons that, as I mentioned, you should have learned also in 2019 already.
By 2019, you remember, we had financial challenges. There was issues of VBS and all that. But we recovered from that. By the time we are recovering, then came COVID. Then we are really working hard to rectify all the shortfalls.
Johnny Nkoane, I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming through tonight. The Mahikeng Local Municipality Communications Manager with us there tonight.